So, today's video, got a couple of questions really for people out there, because after I put up a post last week all about how bad Roaccutane is for the skin, or Accutane if you're in America, got a lot of people commenting on that, saying they'd had really terrible experiences with that particular drug as well. It's a really, really powerful, terrible drug made by Hoffman and Roach. I mean, it can get rid of some people's skin issues, but what it does at a deeper level, it can really damage their liver. It can bring on bouts of depression and suicide. It has a tendency to ruin the teeth and actually the skeleton too. And it's a really, really powerful, health-destroying drug. And so powerful, I said before, actually women are not allowed to take it if they're trying for a baby, because there's 100% chance of birth defect. That's how powerful it is. But the topic did actually get quite a lot of comments, and a lot of people mentioned about what they did to cure their acne. And then other people on there saying, well, no, you can't. I've had problems with hormonal acne, cysts, other acne, and we haven't been able to get to the root of the problem. Saying that, you can't just cure it with diet, which, being a holistic health coach, I know that everything's not just diet. There's lots of different things to it. I always say nutritionists like to think everything's nutritional deficiency. Chiropractors like to think it's something wrong with the skeleton. It's the same as anything. Physios think it's something to do with the joints or the body being out of alignment. If all you've got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And this is why you have to look at a bigger picture for it. And so I was wondering today if people would just like me to show you how you can actually deal with acne, hormonal acne and cysts, and actually show you the principles that we use, the exact principles we use to get people from living life with acne, cystic acne, hormonal acne, etc., to get them to be able to actually have clear, healthy skin. Because acne can really it can be very painful physically. It can also really knock your confidence too. You can be sitting there having a conversation with someone and only think, are they looking at my spots, rather than listening to what I'm saying. So I want to touch on this topic because there's quite a few people saying you can't deal with hormonal acne just through diet, and 100%. The body summates stress, and that stress comes in many, many different forms. And just want to go through the things, people like to go out there and spend money on expensive creams and topical things, thinking that that's going to help. Well, your skin's actually a reflection of your internal health, okay? So if your internal health is not correct, your skin is not going to be correct. And those topical creams you're putting on, a lot of the time, if your internal health is not correct, they are a complete waste of money. People go into places like Joe Malone and spend £50 on literally a tub of toxic garbage. Like, the ingredients in there as to what's what and who's who of what you shouldn't put on your skin unless you want cancer. Phthalates, SLSs, xenoestrogens, etc., etc. And then people going and getting things like, things like tea tree oil can help. Essential oil, tea tree oil, things like that can help. Not generally the ones that have been bastardised by these different skin companies, but if you go and get a pure essential oil, it can help. But once again, if your internal health's not right and other things aren't right, then it's just going to be almost like, they say, pissing into the wind. Things that you have to look out for. You have to look at your internal health. And some of the signs of this, can be how bloated you can get after eating food. It can be if you get headaches, if you get maybe depression, anxiety. It can be tiredness. Lots of these different things happen with inflammation. And acne happens, when your hormones are out of balance, you eat certain foods, alcohol can bring it on, sugar and grains, and you can get irregular bowel movements. And also, if you have extreme stress, that can really, bring on. People don't realise how much stress and the psychological can impact the physical. The mental and emotional affects the physical, and the physical affects the mental and emotional. So if you've done things, okay, like looked at your internal health, lots of things can cause gas, bloating, internal irritation from food, nasal congestion, headaches, things like that. You're looking at your basic inflammatory and allergenic foods, like anything containing gluten or wheat, alcohol, sugar, dairy, caffeine. These things can greatly impact the body in a negative way. They can cause systemic inflammation. They can cause irritation to the gut lining. Irritation to the gut lining means things going through the gut lining into the bloodstream, where they can cause a response. If you're not actually getting rid of toxins through your gut, your digestive tract, then they're going to come out your skin. I always say, men, we've got 4 ways of getting rid of toxins. Women have got 5. We've got breath, sweat, the stool, and urine. Women have got those 4, and they've also got the menstrual cycle. So, we've got ways of getting out. But if your body's not actually getting rid of toxins through those pathways, they're going to start to come out of the skin. And this is where, once again, hormonal issues come up, because the body's backed up and the body's not getting rid of these toxins, and generally it has to do with mental, emotional aspects, environmental aspects, and obviously internal aspects when it comes to the liver. So first of all, you're getting rid of all those things, okay? If you're cutting out all those things and you're still having issues, some things you can do to build up your skin. You said tea tree oil. There's some zinc-rich foods that are all obviously fantastic. Getting out in the sun, vitamin D is phenomenal for your skin. You can do. There's lots of different things. Even there's like nutritional sunbeds you can do. Something that we go to a different time. And yeah, these are all great things. Infrared sauna is another one. But clearing your body out internally, it's going to be the best thing for you. So if you've looked into food and you haven't looked into other things, then there's lots of things that we need to look into, because it's not just someone said on the comments, well, yeah, I eat well, I have a stress-free life, and I'm into my exercise. I was like, that's great, well done, you picked 3 things there, and there's about another 33 things that we can go into. So things that people don't realise, like seed oils, for example, can be very, very destructive for internally, can cause acne. Things like canola oil, sunflower oil, vegetable oil, rapeseed oil, stay away from them. Then you're looking at your tree nuts like almonds, Brazils, cashews. Stay away from them. They can greatly cause skin issues. And then people don't realise how much the mental and emotional actually impacts your skin. So if you've done anyone's done any sort of looked into any sort of Chinese or Vedic medicine, the Chinese always talk about how our organs and our mental emotional are actually linked. As people generally probably know, they've got a vagus nerve that runs from gut all the way to your brain, but your organs, your teeth, everything is actually linked. And for example, your gut can hold grief, and if you've got a lot of emotional stress, that can really impact. I've seen people come to me with extreme stress from work, have really, really bad irritable bowel syndrome or acne, etc. Take them out of that situation on the weekend, and their irritable bowel syndrome goes away, or their skin clears up for a few days, and then they go back to work and it causes big issues again. That mental emotional stress can deeply destroy your gut lining. It can also cause bacterial overgrowth, and it can also cause slow transit time. So what happens there, instead of things getting passed out of your system, they start to come out of your skin. Okay, so mental and emotional stress, and the body's stomach stress, as I said before, it can come from work, it can come from romantic relationships, it can come obviously just from personal relationships with other friends and family, it might come from finances. All these things can be an issue. It's why stress is huge, and it can come from poor quality water as well, poor food choices, of course it can. And even listening to things that cause you stress, going on Twitter and listening to someone you hate talk about something. People seem to love to hate people. I just say, why even listen to them? Just get rid of them. They're just causing you angst. It's not doing you any favours whatsoever. I've actually got friends in my friendship group that love hating people. I'm like, why don't you just get rid of them? They're doing nothing for you. All these can cause big issues, okay, especially for your skin. So all these things people need to understand. You need to try and get yourself a balance, what's yin, you need yang. And there's actually something called, they've actually even termed it acne personality. people that fly off the handle at things, can be very reactive to stuff, very prone to acne. It's once again anger, the liver. The liver, so Chinese medicine talks about how stress and grief can be with the gut. The liver holds anger. So if you're really reactive and your liver actually gets backed up, then you're not actually going to get... The liver isn't something that filters toxins. It's actually something where detoxification takes place, and you can take things like glutathione to help. But once you start to actually get your liver clean, first of all you need your colon clean and your liver clean to process these toxins. It's a game changer. And if you're stressed mentally, emotionally, it can really impact your liver, especially if you've got anger and even fear. That can cause that to happen. So it's something you need to look into there for a psychological aspect, like what's going on. And this is why they always say like meditation is huge. It's not just because you're trying to be like a monk on the mountain, trying to think, oh, I'm self-righteous and better than everyone. It quiets the mind, gets your body in the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest, digest and recover, so you can actually start to heal. It's why fasting's so brilliant. It gets the body into processes, it allows it to get into autophagy, and it allows it to clean itself. Anything with systemic inflammation. So we looked at the psychology. We can go really deep into that. You can even go back into mental, emotional, past traumas that happen from 0 to 7 and 7 to 14. These are lots of things people don't look into. This is why I always say there's lots to health. It's not just nutrition, it's not just exercise, there's lots to it. Then you've got to look at other things, other factors. So people are saying, well, I've done these 3 things. Exercise, if you're doing too much exercise, it can be causing a stress, an overstressed body. It can cause chronic inflammation. Once again, that can cause your hormones to be out of balance. What are your hormones influenced by? They're influenced by everything you do, everything you think, you eat, you drink, the way you exercise, everything. The blue light at night. Are you having too much blue light at night? So after a certain amount of time, this will go off, and I'll have my blue blocking glasses on, and we'll be in dark light, or say like red light. It's another one, blue light at night. Then you've got to look at the EMF, the electromagnetic frequencies. How does your body react to them? Is it sensitive? That can cause extra stress in your body, which can cause inflammation, which can cause skin issues. You've then got things like fragrances. People don't understand how toxic fragrances are. Completely unregulated industry, and they can cause a whole host of skin issues and hormonal imbalances, because they are just full of toxic debris. They're just awful for you. You might be paying £40-50 for these fragrances. They are shocking for the system. You can go out and get essential oils and make a nice fragrance for yourself instead. That's very, very healing and health promoting, rather than something that's going to destroy you. I've got a few of these written down because there's so many. Then we can look at things like volatile organic compounds that can be in your carpet, or can be in your pillows or your bed. Like, is it off-gassing all the time? What is your air quality like in your room? The air quality in your house is 10 times more polluted than it is outside. And if you're living in a city like London, that's saying something, right? So you need to have maybe plants that can detoxify your air, or get a good quality air filtration system in. Then you've got to look at heavy metals. What you're eating? Has your food got heavy metals in it? Has your mum had a mouthful of mercury that could come down the placenta? Have you had silver amalgam fillings in your mouth? What about root canals? Have you got a root canal? 100% chance of infection. 100% chance of infection with root canal. Other things you can do. So many different things. And then you've got to look at even things like, are you living across a geopathical fault line? These are all things that can add to your body's stress, that can throw your body's hormones out of balance, and then make a situation much, much worse. And if you're doing 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of these things, then all of a sudden, boom, your chance of getting something like hormonal acne, for example, is an issue. And so this is why I always say about health. Doing these things, people I know that healthiest people aren't just doing doing nutritional stuff together. They're not just putting the diet, getting the diet right. They're doing lots of things. They're doing meditation. They're journaling. They're having cold showers. They're taking the right supplements at the right times. They're probably fasting a lot. Getting the right amount of exercise, the right amount of vitamin D. Having time to themselves for introspection. so they can have that time to think about things, meditation, going for walks in nature, not having their Wi-Fi on at night, for example. It's a whole host of things it can do. But internally, getting your gut health right is huge, okay? That's absolutely important in terms of getting your bacteria right. Most people have got a gut dysbiosis, which means that they haven't got the right balance of gut bacteria, friendly to unfriendly, which causes big issues from anything from acne all the way to like brain fog, to poor performance, lethargy, not being able to sleep. I mean, you name it, it can cause it. And once again, if you're not getting rid of waste throughout your digestive tract and through your stool, it starts to come out of your skin and it can impact your hormones. Then once again, the liver is hugely important too. Okay, if your liver's your battery of life, and if it isn't actually working, most people's liver's working at 40% of what it should be working at. Okay, so there's things you can take to enhance your liver and let it heal, as well as things you can take to actually allow the detoxification process to come out, and things you can do like going in infrared saunas, for example. So there's lots going on. I've talked about a lot here, you know, and this is why I say it can be quite overwhelming. But I just want people to understand it. There is no one answer. Everyone's different. Obviously, the way you heal anything, you hear me say this a lot of the times, the way you heal anything is the way you heal everything, with a few subtle differences. You just got to see where your weaknesses are and where your body needs to be improved. You know, you can have a virus that's been sitting there dormant for a long period of time. Something happens mentally, emotionally or physically that pushes that virus out, that impacts your immune system, it causes inflammation, boom, all of a sudden you've got cystic acne or hormonal acne. It can happen with a bacteria, and there's no amount of antibiotics that can help you do that. It's going to make things worse. So you actually have to go down different paths and look at energy medicine and different things like that, things that are actually going to enhance your immune system. And when you're going through this, you can go through a little bit of a die-off, a healing crisis, where things get a little bit worse before they get better. But this is why you need to always say to people, it's not me or someone else, pick someone else that gets results with these things and work with them. Because you need to have a process and a protocol to take you from where you are to where you want to get to. And most people, unfortunately, just throw stuff at the wall and hope it sticks, and they don't actually have a process or program to follow. And that is really, really important. I know it was like for me when I was going through it, if I hadn't have had my mentors and whatever, it would have been a nightmare, because there's so much information out there. One person saying one thing, one person saying another thing. You end up doing nothing because you don't do the wrong thing. You know, ever experienced that before? I'm sure you have. I know I have. I know I was like, when I was going through my stuff, I was reading one thing from someone, reading something from someone else, and I was like, well, he's saying this and he's saying that. I don't know what to do. And so you don't want to spend your money and get things wrong. So what you do, you end up doing nothing. And that just leaves you stuck and leaves you frustrated. And then the cycle goes round, and, you know, you start getting more depressed about the situation. Then you probably end up grabbing food, comfort food, which makes the situation worse. You end up putting on weight and you end up making your skin worse. Anyone been there? I know I have. So this is why it's important to put all these things together. And it's just a process of getting it right. So just wanted to put that out there. Lots of different things to look into when it comes to health. You know, I always talk about it. It's not just nutrition. You've got your mental and emotional work to do. You've got to get your internal health right. You've got to get your organs working. You've got to make sure you've got no other things causing systemic inflammation, or exercising too much or too little. Fragrances, air quality, emotional electromagnetic frequencies. Got to be looking at heavy metals, your dental health, geopathical stress, blue light, you name it, you got to look into it. So it's not just, and when I was reading this video, because someone said, oh, how dare you say this about someone who's eating right and exercising right and whatever. And I was like, cool, I'm glad you are. But you've picked 3 things, and I said before, there's a lot more than 3 things going on here. It's mental and emotional as well, I said before. Got to get this right. Financial, romantic, work, like stress from that. If this isn't right, it can massively impact your gut, your liver, other organs. And if that's happening, boom, you can get skin issues. It's not just skin issues, I'm just talking about this because it was an article we talked about before about medications never going to get you there. So anyway, I've rambled on for far too long. But if this is something you've been dealing with and you haven't been able to get to the bottom of it and you'd like to, then don't hesitate to send me an inbox and we can have a chat about how we can help you. Or you can send me an email to ryan@reviveyourself.co, and we can go from there. But otherwise, any questions you got, give me a shout underneath, or if you're looking for help, I said before, send me an inbox or send me an email at ryan@reviveyourself.co. Otherwise, I hope you've got something from that. My rambles are going quite long now, so I'll leave you. Have a good evening, people. As always, stay happy, stay healthy. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.